What is going on, beautiful folks? Lee Hammock, your favorite self-aware narcissist, and welcome to Story Time with Lee. Today, y'all, we got a narcissistic person that left his partner stranded at the bar because she was ready to leave and he wasn't ready yet. Made her walk home from a dark bar in the middle of nowhere. So I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna put it on the screen right here so y'all can see it too. I know I got some sit in my car, but it don't help. It'll be on the screen for you. Hi, Lee. I had met a guy when I was going through a hard time. Always when they're vulnerable. He seemed to want to be there for me in my time of need and seemed very considerate at the time we met. He was dealing with his own challenges, as later I had learned. We hadn't known each other long. We seemed to get along very well in the beginning. That may almost always do, right? I started to watch your videos and began to discover that he was actually a narcissist. I can relate to a lot of your videos with this dynamic. I have felt abandoned by this person after he just disappeared on me without any warning. The last time I saw him was at a sleazy bar and he wanted to take me out for a nice meal. After we got there, he spent the whole night on his phone talking to his homeboy and had walked away from our drinks in the bar and was hanging outside on his phone for over 30 minutes. I got really fed up with this behavior as he had ignored me the whole time at my house he was staying at. After a while, as he ignored me the whole time at my house he was staying at. After a while, I walked to my car and tried to start it up as it wouldn't start. I figured he did something to it as he had drove us to the bar. He came to the car wondering what I was doing, and it got really toxic from there. I ended up leaving my car at this bar, and this person made me walk home alone. He wasn't ready to leave yet and said I need to watch this fight on his phone. I just lost it after that. He didn't even care about me or my car, as I later realized. He stayed, and I don't really know what happened afterward. I ended up having to call the bar and go pick up my car the next day. I text him after over a week that he disappeared on me after we had a heated discussion about his things he left behind and got no response from him. He later told me he never received the text. Over a week later, he reaches out saying he had been involved in a hit and run and had been hit trying to walk back to confront me and was in the hospital for over 3 weeks. I had my suspicions and knew he was lying the whole time. He then told me how much he wanted me back in his life and he wanted to make things work between us. He called and texted me every day and then just stopped. It was all a manipulative game on his part. I have not heard from him in the last several months. I appreciate your videos and channel. Y'all, some of these conversations be rough. Yeah, some of these conversations and some of these stories do get a little on the rough end, right? They do get a little rough and whatnot. But just start from the beginning. Yeah, I will say this right here. You said I met a guy when I was going through a hard time. My advice, and this is just not dealing with narcissists, toxic people, whatever. My advice overall, when you're getting out there trying to date, do not date when you are vulnerable. To me, that's the worst time to date because you're vulnerable and sometimes you're lonely. Sometimes you're going through a breakup. Sometimes you lost a family member or a pet or something like that. Sometimes you got rejected. You got fired from your job. You're going through a hard time and then you're dating and you meet people. Like when you're going through a hard time, you tend to miss red flags, right? When you're going through hard times, you tend to miss red flags. You tend to miss the actual things that are going on and happening in your life. The things that could be wrong about this person or people or whatnot. You tend to miss that type of stuff. You really, really do. And I tell this to people all the time. This is the scenarios that happen. You will miss red flags when you're hurting, when you're sad, when you're lonely, and this person comes into your life and you say to yourself, I felt like he wanted to be there for me. Yeah, because he was getting something out of it. You end up seeing later on how disconnected he really was when he let you walk home from the bar by yourself because he wanted to watch a fight on his phone. Like, he wanted to watch a fight on his phone. Think about that right there. I got to watch this fight on my phone. Like, you can't walk and watch the fight on your phone. That's insane. You see how crazy that it is? Yes, in the beginning, they will pretend to like the same things that you like in order to get you to drop your guard and fall for them. In the beginning, they'll give you everything you want and need a lot of times and be there for you when you're going through a hard time. That's what they do, y'all. That's what they weasel their way in there. Like I said, when you're in a time of need and you might not have a good support system, and here comes a narcissistic person. I'll be your support system. I'll be your shoulder to crown. I'll be this. I'll be that. And then they do the type of stuff all the time. The disappearing without a warning typically is a sign that they have somebody else. Like they might be balancing multiple people. Like at the bar talking to his homeboy. You don't do that if you're really interested in somebody, right? That means you might be talking to a girl, or you might be setting up some girls or some dudes with your best friend or whatever. When you leave the bar with this person, he was having conversations that he really didn't want you to have, right? And like I said, he kept constantly disappearing and whatnot. But I'll say this about the last part you said about him reaching out to you, like you reaching out to him about stuff he had left behind that he refused to get. Yeah, a lot of narcissistic people will leave their stuff behind and as an excuse to reach out to you, as an excuse to stay in your life, as an excuse to stay around, stay in your life. I'm playing with Deanna. But that happens, y'all. So I will say this as well. Him disappearing for a couple of weeks, saying he didn't get your text messages, that he got hit by a car, and all of a sudden he got hit by a car walking to confront you. He was walking to confront you and got hit by a car and was out of contact for weeks at a time. But now he misses you so much. He said confront you. So he was like, let's just say he was telling the truth, which he probably was. I'm like 98% certain that man was lying about getting hit by a car and being in the hospital for 3 weeks. Prove it, first of all. But then he said he was coming to confront you. He wasn't coming to have a loving conversation with you. He was coming to confront you, right? He was coming to be mad and angry as hell at you. He wasn't coming to lay it down and be cool with you, right? That's not what he was doing. He was coming to confront you, and whatnot. That was his plan. That really was his plan. But I will say this to people all the time. Narcissistic people only want you for a lot of times for what they can get out of you. That's why he try to come back and just say, oh, I really want to be with you. I really want to make it work. But then he disappears again. Like, is he going for good? Is he done for good? I would say a lot of times sometimes they are, sometimes they are not. But I would just say protect your peace. Do not let this man come back into your life, because if you do, he'll just disappear again, and then he'll come back, disappear again, come back, disappear, come back, because he thinks it's okay. He thinks the behaviors, whatever has went down, whatever has happened, he thinks all this stuff is okay. He just does, y'all. Yeah, you have to protect your peace in these situations. But anyways, thank you for sending that in. Y'all stay tuned to the very end. You get the email address to send your story in, the voicemail to send your story in and whatnot, all this other good stuff. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And as always, y'all, mental illness, Lee Hammock is out. Peace. Thank you so much for making it to the end of my video. I truly appreciate every single one of y'all. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, y'all. It don't cost you nothing. It don't cost a thing. If you want to send in your story to be broken down or send in some text messages, you can do that at info@mentalhealness.net, or you can send me a short voicemail, brief voicemail to 855-432-5637. I love interacting with y'all. I love breaking these stories down. Thank y'all so much. I will see y'all in the next reaction video. Peace.